Hey kiddos, I guess you're here to see Try It Tuesday. Let's get started with the video.
Okay, so the first one we're going to start with is Indy Annie Jones. Y'all need to go over and check her channel out. This girl is absolutely hilarious. She keeps me in tears constantly. Love watching her. She is so stinking funny. Now we're going to make basically our take on that wagon wheel, and I think hers turned out absolutely beautiful, but I had to do it in my own way. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is that largest hula hoop, 8 of these dowel rods, and this little craft container that comes from the craft section. It's for like beads or sequins or something like that. Now then, I just lay it all out and fix it in there so those little dowel rods fit in the back of that container and fit in the grooves. And that's how I decided where to mark my holes. So I laid that out, put my hula hoop over it, made sure it didn't move while I took my little Sharpie, or I think I actually used one of them furniture pins from the Dollar Tree, and I drilled holes where they needed to go. Now make sure your drill bit is the same size as your dowel rod. So then I'm going back through there and I clean the plastic out because you know when you drill sometimes you get like little spits of plastic or wood or whatever. So I just had to take a X-Acto knife and go back through. Now I poke all the dowel rods down in the holes and they fit perfectly in there. And Indy, I call her Indy all the time. Her name is actually Annie, but Annie got to be the smartest little thing ever to figure this out because I would have never put all that together. She is awesome, y'all. You got to go over and check that channel out. I'm going to link her channel and her video below, and make sure you tell her that I sent you over there. You're gonna thank me. I'm gonna promise you. Now I got this Easter sign at Easter, of course. Hello. And I tore that bunny off of there, and then I'm going to paint it this ink black from Waverly, and it is chalk paint, so it covers pretty good, and it'll actually fill up the holes where those staples were. Now, pretty good. I probably should have sanded it off a little bit. I have a couple of bumpy edges, but from afar, unless you're standing right up on it, you can't even see it. So, it's for me, so, there you go. I took these flat back wooden beads, and that's flat back. Alrighty, so I take those and I spread them out and evenly. I kind of used my little 2-finger thing, and then I went back and fixed it because I didn't like it. And I'd actually done this like 4 times, different ways, trying to get the right spacing. And finally, I just eyeballed it because Lord knows I can't do anything by measuring. So I have a better sense of direction just by eyeballing stuff than I do by measuring. If I measure it, it's going to come out wrong every time. Don't ask me. It's a math thing, I'm sure. And if I can't use my 10 key, I can't figure it out. So anyway, I'm going to hot glue these wooden beads on here. Now, the ideal thing would have been to hot glue them before I put the paint on there. Not that it made a difference on this sign, but it might on the paint if you had something that was a pretty shiny paint. It didn't make a difference because this was the chalk paint. But if you had some acrylic that was kind of slick, it might make a difference. So I would glue the wooden beads down first and then paint over it. I didn't do that though, and didn't have any problems with keeping them on there or them popping off. So I've been using this technique a lot with just the hot glue and nothing else, and I haven't had any of them fall off yet. So that wood really likes that hot glue, and it'll hold it just really, really well. Now then, I'm going back and I'm going to paint all that like I should have the first time. But when you change your mind, you gotta fix your mistakes. So I'm going to distress with just the white Waverly and a chippy brush. And how I do that is I barely get the ends of that chippy brush wet with that paint, like just the tips, because I just want it to kind of streak it. I don't want a full coat. So that's why I use a chippy brush to distress. It gives it just a here and there look, I guess is what I'm going to call it. Now, I got these letters about, I'm going to say 5, 6, 10 years ago at Michael's. When they used to have those dollar bins and all? Well, they went on sale, and they didn't have all the same ones. So that A is different from the rest of it. But once I painted it and put it on there, it looks like I did it on purpose. Okay, so I learned how to make this bow over on Nick's Seasonal decor, you guys go over and check his channel out. I'll link it below. This is like a 6-loop bow, so I did 3 in red, 3 in the black, and this is how you get the mixed colors in the bow. I guess this is how I did it anyway. So, you know, before you'd have to like layer it on top or layer it behind to get the look and then pull them forward. This is just a little bit easier way to, you know, make it look like that. So, and it was actually really easy to do. I hope you go over there and check his page out, because for me to describe it, it's just not going to work out. I flagged all the ends, and then I you fold the loop in half, or the bow in half. No, the loop in half. The ribbon in half. There we go. You fold the ribbon in half, and then you just do every other color. So you do 1 red, 1 black, 1 red, 1 black, and you go back and forth which side of the bow you put it on. And I thought it turned out awesome, and it was super quick and super easy. And y'all know me, I struggle making bows all the time, which I can make them, but it takes me a while of fluffing them and all that. This came through super, super easy. So I just want to tell you, he knows what he's talking about. Go over there and check out his video for those bows. Now, let's get back to the little wagon wheel. So I've got it, and I took it outside, and I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum flat white and matte flat white. And that, let me tell you, I love that stuff. It's the same kind I always use. I'm going to hot glue that sign on there, and then I'm going to use the little chinchilla stem, not a pipe cleaner, because people don't, you know, smoke pipes anymore, I don't guess, and tie it on there. And here it is. I've got it up in my living room right now just for my display for 4th of July or Memorial Day weekend. All right, so this next one I got from Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. This project came off of her latest video, which was a patriotic theme that they were doing for Fisher House. I'm going to link below the playlist, and I want you to go over and watch that, because for every commercial you watch, they send the money to Fisher House. Now, this is part of Try It Tuesday over on Sammy's channel, and her co-hostess is Rebecca Virginia DIY. These 2 ladies are absolutely the sweetest things ever. All right, so we're going to get started. And first thing we're going to need is this USA sign from Dollar Tree that I just picked up, actually. So you might still be able to get them at your store. Also, you're going to need the star one and 3 of these little wooden crates. Now, I use Waverly chalk paint to distress them, and I just, you know, give them a light coat. I don't really do a whole lot. Again, I'm using the chippy brush. I'm going to do it to all 3 of them. And I'm going to then do it to the letters. And I'm going to go around the edges, because, you know, sometimes glitter is too much glitter, and then sometimes it's not. And so I wanted it to look a little bit distressed. So that's why I went over all the letters with the white. Instead of trying to take that glue or that glitter off and have a mess, I thought, well, I'm just going to paint it on there good. And I think that might help the glitter from, you know, spilling off on everything. Then I'm going to take the hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue those little things on there, and they fit just perfect on these signs, so, or on these boxes. It takes up every little bit of space, and I think it just did a great job just adhering to it, and it covered the whole box all by itself. So the next thing you're going to need is these paint sticks. So these look just like hers if I left them like that, except hers were houses. So I didn't like mine sitting like that, so I got me to those giant paint sticks from Home Depot, and I cut the handle parts off of it right at the edge, and then I painted them, of course, the white Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm going to just hot glue the boxes together so that I'm not having to worry about them falling apart, making it more of a stand-up sign than an actual 3 little pieces, which I guess I could have left, but I had these holes in there, and I was like, okay, I got to cover the holes. Now, what am I going to do? Well, later on, I thought, well, I could have just cut the pieces of stick to cover the top of the holes, but, you know, hindsight's 20/20, right? Blah, 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 blah. So I didn't like that it still didn't have any decoration on the top, so I took the stars from Dollar Tree, which was on the same little swaggy thing as the letters, and I just took them apart. And of course, I'm going to start hot gluing them to the back and I got them a little bit crooked, which I fixed with a bow, and you can't even tell it, but I should have used them. I should have measured, which probably wouldn't have turned out right anyway, if I'm being honest. But, anyway, so it wasn't stable enough, so I added another paint stick to the back, a shorter one, to, just make sure that I had a good hold on there. I did go in and paint my stars, and here in a minute I'll show where I paint the inside of that stick. And I just did the stars the same way I did the letters, so that glitter wouldn't come off. It was in to knock some of that shine down on it, because I do like glitter, but I'm not just like absolutely the fondest of it. Now that burlap piece is what the stars or the USA was stuck to. They had stapled it to that burlap, and so I just made a bow out of it. I didn't like that it was so plain, so I added red ribbon to it and just took some twine around the middle of it and made my little bow. Now I'm going to, after I get the twine tied, then I'm going to hot glue it up there where the star is a little bit crooked, and then that takes away from the eye, the side of it. Now, I suggest you measure yours so you won't have that same problem. Now, I thought, well, I'm going to add some little feet to this thing, because that's my new thing, that everything's got to have feet on it. So these little square, they would be like off of a square dowel rod, but they've chopped them into like a little perfect square. So I use these a lot to pop things up, but I also use them as feet. So I put the little feet on there. I put 4, 2 on each side, and then I, of course, paint the inside so that you can't see that. Now here it is. It turned out adorable. Make sure to check out Sammy's on her channel too, so that you can see what hers look like. So this next one comes from Wendy over at White Sparrow Living. Y'all, this woman is so sweet and comes up with some of the greatest craft projects. This is one of her old ones that I was going through and saw the other day, and I was like, oh, I remember that. Let's make it, because it's super simple, super easy to make. So the very first thing is I went out to my garage and found, I have all this old lumber, in there that I save every piece. Well, thank goodness I do, because, you got to be a rich man to buy lumber these days. But anyway, it's just a 2x4, and I cut it down to what I thought would be the right size for these 4 clear votives that I got from Dollar Tree. Now I'm just gluing wooden beads to the bottom of it. Hers didn't have that on there, and you didn't have to have it. But I'm liking the little feet on everything. So I put the little wooden beads down there, and then I'm going to give it, of course, a scatter coat, distressed coat of white Waverly chalk paint. Now this bottom part I'm covering pretty good, because that's where they've printed the wood on there, and I don't want to see that when I turn it over. So that aggravates me for some reason. I don't know why. It looks kind of authentic, but I wanted to cover mine up, so I did. So this is the bottom side of it again, and I'm filling those holes back up with hot glue, just so that they're solid. You didn't need to do that, but of course, I thought I needed to, so I did. So here in a minute, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just going to distress the top side of it. I'm just doing a light color, or a light coat of that chalk paint, and it's finished, y'all, pretty much. So I'm going to take those clear votives, and I have some jute string that I got from Dollar Tree, and it was in a big old round ball, and I've used quite a bit of it, as you can see here in a minute. So what I do is I just wrap it around each votive 4 times, tied in a basic knot, and kind of spread those strings out and kind of give you a little bit of a rustic look. I do it on all 4 of them, and I thought it turned out adorable the way that worked out. Now that I've set them to the side, I'm going to try this baby wipe method again, where they take the baby wipe and then they put the ink, antiquing wax on it, and then rub it over everything. Y'all, I hate this technique. I don't know why, but it just doesn't work for me. I've tried it like 5 times, and for some reason, I just don't like it. I should have, if I wanted the board darker, I should have stained it first and then put the paint over it. And so that's my suggestion. So, because I wipe it on there, and then I wipe it right back off with a wet baby wipe. I'm just going to tell you what I did. But anyway, a lot of people like using it. I personally do not. But if that's your thing, go ahead and do it. I just couldn't tell any difference in it because I wanted it to be more white than the other. Now, I just hot glued those Vodas on there. And I put the red candles in there for the patriotic theme. So you'll get to see the whole thing here in a minute. What do you think? How'd it turn out? Okay, so this one is from Jazz over at DIY Home and Crafts. My friend found this video for me because I've been wanting to do the bathtub, and so I copied her idea. Kind of, I copied her idea. So y'all check her out. She seems super sweet. So you just get one of those toy bathtubs that's over in the kids section, and I got two at the time to try. I painted this with the white Waverly chalk paint. I really have trouble saying that some days. It's a lot of W's in there. And anyway, so I'll give it a full coat. Actually, I give it 3 coats, I'm pretty sure, by the time I got done because I had to fix my mistakes where I spotted some of it up from touching it. Now, I use the hair dryer, or not my hair dryer, but my heat gun to dry it for me. Now, don't get it too close because it is plastic. So I wanted it to have that enamel wear look. So I went through and just went all the way around it with the black Waverly ink, and is the color, and I used that to go all the way around and just give it kind of a linen look. I even did it on the feet. Now I kind of messed it up near the top. Here in a minute you'll see where I go back and touch it up with the white Waverly chalk paint. And it once it was dry, it was super easy to cover with the chalk paint, which is just odd because black paint is hard to cover up, but it did it just went back over it after it dried, and I didn't have any smearing or anything like that, which was a miracle. Now where my paint wasn't dry, I had a little bit of trouble, but once it was dry, it did great covering up that black. So I did the little feet, and then I got a little brush and I did the knobs on the top of it, and I thought it turned out super cute. I wanted to put bath bombs in it, you know, those little fizzy things. But my Dollar General, which is the closest place to me with anything, they didn't have any but these little bitty tiny ones and in a champagne glass for $5. And I was like, nah, I'll put some ivy in there. I'll do like Jazz did, and I'll just put the ivy in there. And so that's what I did. So I go back. You can see me correcting it here. No, actually, I'm painting the little knobs. I have the worst time seeing what I'm doing when I'm recording on this phone, because the recording part covers up half of what I'm watching. So I'm guessing most of the time what I'm doing here. So I go back and I put the white in there, and I'm fixing that now. Where I had gotten too much of it on the edge. I thought I wanted to paint that whole part black, but then I decided I didn't. I was wrong. Mama. I was wrong. Anyway, so I got it fixed. And I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to just take those branches that, you know, I love, those boxwood branches from Walmart that I can't seem to get enough of. I actually am out of them right now, and I need to go get me some more. So I just cut those up little by little and just into smaller pieces, and then I just lay them in there. I don't hot glue them because I really want the bath bombs, and so when I find the right ones, that's what I'm going to put in there in mine. Now, I think that it turned out adorable. Even with the boxwood, it would be a great little addition to my bathroom. And here you can see it. I've got it on the table instead of showing it to you in my bathroom. My bathroom is a wreck. My grandbabies have been here for 2 days, so I hadn't cleaned house in a while. Now, here's all the projects together, except for the bathtub, because it didn't really go with my patriotic theme. But I thought they turned out pretty good, and I was pretty proud of them.
Wasn't that fun? All right, so every Friday, or every Tuesday and every Friday now, I'm going to start trying to post a video. Now, I won't always get it done, but I am going to try it. That's going to be my new schedule. Everybody seems to think that I need to set a schedule and stick with it, and that'll help boost my videos. So let's see if it works. I will see you on Friday and probably the following Tuesday, hopefully. All right, I'm glad you guys stopped by today. And remember to subscribe, like, and comment. And that helps my channel grow and it helps me earn money. Let's just be honest. It helps me earn money and it helps me to be able to provide better projects for you on the next go round. All right, y'all have a great week and I'll see you on Friday.